What's up devs, welcome to another episode of Django package series, and in this episode I'm going to show you a really popular package, one of the most used Django package out there in real world applications, which mostly used for testing, for mocking data. And so I decided to show you since I'm working with this in the past few weeks, and it's really cool. It allows you to mock objects, models, really fast and quick in a clear way, and so on. So the package name called Django Factory Boy, as you can see in here. Let me open the browser. It's calling the Factory Boy, not the Django Factory Boy. So basically this package allows you to mock your models, objects. It can be a class itself. So basically you can use this in your Django models. For example, assume that you have to model the post and blog. So you can, let's say not blog and post, but let's say post and comments, for example. So if you want to test your application, but you need some fake data, to test the functionality, test the features of this application. So at this point, you can use Factory Boy to generate fake data, and it's really how to say, you can generate more than one dataset for a specific model or object. And let's say that there are some hooks in this package that allows you to, for example, once the object is created, once the mocked data is created, you can apply some change immediately, or there are some other hooks as well, pre, post. Actually they did everything that we need while test-driven development of an application. So let's go through this by detail, and we will see everything in action. Okay. Alright then, let's open our workspace and start by creating the files, the file structure. First, let's add data, empty directory named data, and after that, let's add init.py to make this Python package, and then we will need models.py, then factories. And lastly, let's create main.py that will hold our main structure of our program. Note that this is outside of our data package. So let's jump to models.py, and in here we're going to create let's say the post model. And since we are not using the Django right now, because I don't want to install and set up all these process again just to show a couple of tricks with Factory Boy. That's why I decided to use data class, which is the best way to store data. As you know, this functionality came up with, I think, in Python 3.7, and it basically allows you to store data. How to say it? It's a tool that makes structured classes, and it's especially for storing data, and it can hold some certain properties or, I don't know, functions for data representation. Basically all related stuff with data, actually. So let's use the decorator data class, and under that decorator we're going to define our post class. And the field is going to be title, as always, description, that is going to be string as well, published, boolean, true or false, and finally let's say image, string as well. We're going to give the path of this image. Okay, so that's our data class, post. Let's now go to factories. So the main stuff happens here. Let's start by importing our factory And before we continue, actually, let me show you the documentation really quick. I just want to give you a taste of this package, or how to say, this episode will boost your knowledge and will let you to deep dive into this package to research other functionalities and features. There are a lot of things in here. I just want to mention some certain points that you possibly will use in real world applications. So the basic usage is you are creating some custom class and it inherits from factory class, and after that you're just defining the model that you are going to use. It can be it can be, but it's going to be the class name that you want to use. In Django it can be, for example, let's say we have post model, then you are going to write post. But for some how to say, if you're not using Django, for example, if you have some case like this, some data class, and you have to mock it for some reason for testing and development, then it's okay to give the class name directly. And of course its attributes, first name, last name, but in our case it's going to be title, description, image, and all this stuff. Okay, what is another great thing in this package is, I think in newer versions of Factory Boy they included Faker model as well, which handles fake data generation, and that is great for, how to say, to handle all possible scenarios during tests. Because let's say if you give some expected data to your tests, then you can miss some points, possibly. You can miss some unexpected errors that can happen. But by using Faker, if you generate fake data and make it as close as to real scenarios, then it's, of course, that is good practice and good approach to catch unexpected errors and prevent breaks in production. Alright, so enough giving information on this. Let's lastly search for fuzzy. The fuzzy attributes is same with Faker, but since, as I said, the Factory Boy included Faker, this attributes becomes kinda not useless actually, but not that important. As the note says here, now the Factory Boy includes Faker. Most of these built-in fuzzes are deprecated, but still some of them are handy, depends on the case. And I decided to use one of these in this episode. So let's switch our workspace and import factory.fuzzy. After that, let's create our factory class. I'm going to call it post factory. It's going to be inherited from factory.factory. After that, let's define the meta class. The model is going to be post, and what we said, we have to define the attributes of this class that we want to mock. So let's start by title. Title equals factory.faker. As you can see, Faker included in the package, and we will give name in here. So this string here is not randomly typed, but this is the attribute that Faker allows, that Faker understands which particular thing it should generate, which particular data it should generate. That can be date, I don't know, date, sentence, image URL. You can search for this, and there are a lot of attributes available for Faker. After that, let's go and write this description. It's going to be factory.faker and sentence. As name defines, it will generate fake sentence for description. And then we said published. Well, published must be true or false because it's Boolean. And at this point, we're going to use fuzzy attributes. basically let's try factory.fuzzy, and then we will use fuzzy choice. Oops, fuzzy choice, and the fuzzy choice accepts an iterable, which means list of items, and of course we have to give these choices inside choices attributes. Let's give true and one false. So the probability of this field right here, the published, is going to be true. Let's say this is full. Yeah, the 80% it's going to be true, 20% is going to be false. So basically we are generating some probability logic in here. The fuzzy choice will randomly choose from this iterable, from the list. And lastly, let's define image. I'm going to copy paste it. Factory and image URL, like that. Whew, okay, that's it. What else we have to do in here is we defined our class, data class, factory, that fake data will generate it in here, and yeah, the main. So we want to see the result of our mocked class, our mocked model. I said it too many times. From data.factories, let's import our post factory. Let's say posts equals post factory. Oops. Post factory. Yeah, and then we're going to use create batch function here by giving the size. So what create batch is doing, let's go inside this function. Create batch of instance of given class with overridden attributes. Yeah. And it accepts size, which is integer, the number of instances to create. Exactly, we are creating number of instances but it's creating number of instances depend on this value right here. And for this case, let's say 10 actually. Create 10 instance of this post factory class. Let's iterate through this. Post in, I think I made spelling error here. Posts print post, for example, print title, only the title. Save. Okay, so that's it. Let's run this file. Py main.py. As you see, it generated 10 instance, and we are only getting the title. If I delete this and print only the instance itself, you will see that it actually prints all fields with all its attributes. You see, title is Teresa Brown, description published true. Let's say if we have false here. No, we don't have false. Oh, actually we have, you see, published false, and of course with images. That's great. That's really great. The last one thing I want to show you is there are some hooks available in this package that allows you to override some data, or let's say if you want to define something, if you want to give some value or define something specific for your model, you can use post generation hook. For example, let's go search for this post generation. Yeah, post generation hooks. This hook, actually this function right here, fires right after the object generated. right after the factory object is generated. For example, there are other functions also available. For example, if you want to override quarks, where is it? If you want to override quarks inside here, for example in post generation, because I faced with this issue about 3 or 4 weeks ago, there are some other functions as well that allows you to override quarks values. So yes, let's try this hook lastly for this episode, and then we will just finish the video because I noticed that it takes really long. Anyway, let's go to the factories again, and we're going to define it here. Factory post generation hook decorator, and then we have to use after. As documentation said, I'm following the documentation. Where is it? Yeah, here. Mbox, you can call it anything. Oh god, it sounds weird. Anyway, after, I'm calling the function name after, and we have to give object. Yeah, let me just copy and paste. I don't want to waste time. My caps lock's still open. Okay. The object itself, which basically is post factory instance. So what else? Creates a boolean indicating which strategy was used. Yeah. Extracted is known, and quarks are just key value pairs. You have to pass. So let's copy paste this as well. So if our post factory instance is not created yet, then just return empty. Else we will, for example, let's say print object and title plus, I don't know, post, let's say underscore post. We can give it with f string. I think it will be more clean. Okay, we don't need that part as well. Okay, like that. That's it. Let's run. Yeah, you will see it, all titles includes concatenated with this post underscore post string right here, which means once the instance generated inside this post factory, this hook will be fired, and all our titles will be concatenated with this underscore post string that we gave here. So that's all, folks, for this episode. I hope you learned something. I tried to share some real experience with you. Believe me, in this case, all these factory board fake this function right here, post generation, is used in real world applications. Of course, this create batch. Assume that you are writing some tests, and suddenly if you are using the factory board to mock your data, that is really big plus for your career as a developer, because the test-driven development skills is on demand now. They're asking from you in all interviews that are you familiar with test-driven development? Then you can show off your skills just by stating these package names, all of this stuff. Okay, so that's it. If you enjoyed, please subscribe. And before I stop recording this video, I just want to mention one more thing. I'm going to upload some Shopify videos soon. I recorded, I just need to edit some of them. They will include how to migrate some data, some dummy data to Shopify by using Shopify's REST API. So in this videos we are just creating development store, we are interacting with API, we are analyzing, inspecting the structure of the API, because sometimes it can be complicated. You don't know which exact field needs what type of value, or how to say, if you want to send image, or for example, you want to assign collection to products, you can find these fields inside this huge documentation of Shopify. But hopefully I will share tips and tricks with you that that will help to boost your e-commerce skills to the next level. Okay, so stay tuned, stay connected, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks.